Good evening. My name is JP Boghossian. I am Armenian American, black hair, glasses, pink shirt with coconuts on them and matching pink fingernails polish. Behind me are bookshelves and a white wall. I'll be reading an excerpt of an essay tonight that's part of an essay collection. I'm part of the nonfiction cohort. Thank you to my cohort for making this essay infinitely better. Naming names. Be mindful with my name. Speaking it is an intimate moment between us. Your breath creates the form and weight of it. That breath comes from deep inside you. It caressed your bronchi. It kissed your alveoli. The moisture of your throat warmed it. The wetness of your tongue shaped it. That breath pulses just outside your lips, vibrating across the room, penetrating my ear, massaging the folds of muscle tissue in my skull. Be mindful with my name. Speaking it is an intimate truth between us, and you should know the history of it. My parents named me John. It wasn't my mother's first choice. She preferred Peter, but her mother-in-law intervened and declared my name must be John. She explained that there had always been a John in every generation of my father's family, but she hadn't named any of her children John. So she insisted that I, as the first grandchild who could rectify that omission, must be a John. My father obliged, then my mother. I wondered if Peter was the English version of Pierre, which was my mother's uncle's name. I knew she didn't like her Armenian middle name, Manushag, so it didn't surprise me that she didn't want to name me Tigran, Kevork, or Azad. Her Armenian parents gave her a French name because she was born in France. Folks wonder why Armenians always talk about the genocide, how we can insert it into any conversation, even ones as trivial as the weather or traffic. But had she not been born in France, but Western Armenia, from where my great-grandparents and grandparents fled, then she would have an Armenian name. So even the choices of our names have roots in the genocide. Since she immigrated to the States and married an American, giving me an English name made a certain kind of sense. John was not only a return to tradition, but the expectation of a future, Armenian roots with an American future. My kindergarten bus driver named me Johnny. I did not tolerate this. The bus was already a fraught paradox. At 5 years old, the road was forbidden territory. Don't play near it, don't go near it, don't get into a stranger's car. But suddenly I was expected to walk to the road by myself, stand next to it, and climb up huge steps into a bus driven by a stranger. Johnny was a bridge too far. I complained to my parents to do something, but they told me to stand up for myself. So on my next bus ride, I clambered up the steps. The cheerful bus driver said, "Hello, Johnny." I stared her down. My name is John. At my seat. My youth pastor named me JP. He called everyone else in the youth group by their first names, but he called me JP. It was simply my initials, John Parker, but it was also the inverse of the name everyone called him, PJ, Pastor John. I loved him for this. I loved him more for this. I was an adolescent with confusing feelings for him. He was both a father figure and a romantic puppy crush love. My attraction to him simmered, made me shy, desperate to please. I never actually got to be alone with him. I never even had one single conversation just between the two of us. I knew envy was a sin, but it crawled over me anytime anyone mentioned they had alone time with PJ. I memorized his sermons. I committed my future life to the ministry. I realized he might be the key to my queerness. His father figureness allowed me to create my own gay conversion therapy protocol. It didn't work, but he taught me how to have faith. I kept it up, even as my anxiety rotted my hope. The trauma was less that he taught me that queerness damned, though that was traumatic. It was more that he taught me how to have a personal relationship with God, how to love God, how to talk to God. And I told God everything, clutching my pillow before bed, pretending I was hugging him, always a steady stream of consciousness and questions that led to a deep study of the Lord's word. The trauma was less damnation, though that was traumatic, but more the threatened rupture of my most intimate relationship with the person who cared for me most. I was desperate to talk to PJ about this, but I couldn't. I sat on the floor of the youth room watching him laugh with the juniors and seniors. He had the best laugh, loud, infectious, all teeth and gleeful eyes. I watched, waited. I had the long game. They would graduate and my time would come. But church politics destroyed everything. The machinations of long-standing church members led to the senior pastor's ouster, and then, because of this, the entire pastoral staff resigned from the church. I cried for months. I anguished. Why wasn't I good enough for PJ to fight to stay? All I had left were the intimate moments he called me JP, the moments he created just for the two of us. Thank you.